MVP.
Hits one in the air, left center field, back it goes! Harper, the swing of his life!
You never get a minute or so. As Harris down the field,
I know Rennies do every day. It's always been that way for me. Always been a get better mentality every day, grow every day, be a better leader every day, be a better quarterback every day. And when that wrench do, I don't plan on missing no payments. So.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to 3 in the Keystone, episode 75. It's the Hall of Notes of podcasting, myself and Al Ryan. And for those of you guys who are worried, we do have an update from Chris Guest tonight, including a text that he gave about the Eagles and his thoughts on the current state of the game. So we do have some words from Chris, who will hopefully be making his return in the near future. So stay tuned for that as we get into segment 1. But Al, just how are things going, bud?
What a tease that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're learning the industry ways.
We are. Things are going good. Jackson had his second travel league basketball game this weekend, and poured in his first bucket of his young career in travel basketball. Kid had 2 points, 2 blocks, and 2 steals.
That's one more bucket than Dad had.
That's a very Ben Wallace line. That's a very Al Ryan line.
Yeah. No doubt, apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Episode 75, brought to you by perhaps the biggest number 75 of all time. How about that Vince Wilfork?
I had Jonathan Ogden locked and ready to go.
You, Jonathan Ogden?
Yeah.
Couple of hogs.
Hogs everywhere, dude.
You gotta love the hogs, my man. All right, Al. We're gonna jump right into it here.
Might as well. Let's rip the Band-Aid off, as they say.
We've been doing every week the Eagles. They sneak out a victory. Well, guess what? It's the same story again as it was last week. This week, Eagles get smashed by a true Super Bowl contender, the Dallas Cowboys. They lose 33-13 to fall to 10-3 on the season. The question is simple, Al. The panic button. It's not if you're hitting it. How hard are you hitting it?
Smash that panic button, just like you smash that like and you smash that subscribe on the YouTube page, Adam. I'm hitting it hard. And how could you not? After these last 2 weeks, we went up against 2 contenders in our conference that we will have to see before getting to the Super Bowl if we are to get there. And they embarrassed us. They embarrassed us in back-to-back weeks. The Eagles look terrible. 0 offensive touchdowns against Dallas, giving up scores on 10 straight drives. Going back a couple games. So how can you not be smashing this panic button right now if you're the Philadelphia Eagles or a fan of this team?
I couldn't agree more. If you remember last week, I said I was out last week. I jumped off the ship.
Yep.
I've been off. I'm swimming to shore. The ship kept sailing out there. You got a hell of a lot longer swim for you to get to shore than I do. Look, the defense is ranked 28th in the league in points allowed at this point in the season. They're 22nd in yards allowed. The offense hasn't topped 400 yards in 8 straight games. They haven't even gotten to 350 yards in 4 of the last 5. The only game that they did that was against Buffalo, and it took overtime to get there. They have a point differential of plus 21. At this point, I didn't want to make this comparison last week, but I don't know how you can at this point. They're the Minnesota Vikings of last year.
I know. And I was going to say, what do you think? Do you think they're more likely to end the season like the Minnesota Vikings did last year, or more likely to make it back to the Super Bowl?
Oh, more likely. If you're asking me those things, it's more likely to end the season like the Vikings did last year with a first-round loss. But I think there's a realistic possibility that they'll win a playoff game because the bottom of the NFC is not very good. However, again, the Vikings lost to the Giants last year, so we can't count anything out at this point in time.
Yeah, who's the 7th seed right now? Would we be playing like a frisky like Rams? I don't know who the 7th seed is right now.
I think it's I think it's going to be like a Minnesota or a Green Bay is probably who you're seeing. So you got the 5 seed will be, again, it could be the Eagles at this point. Eagles could be the 5 seed, in which case you get, that might even be, if you want to win first game, that's you get in Atlanta or New Orleans or Tampa Bay on the road. And then the 6 seed, I think the 6 seed at this point would probably be the Rams because of the way they're playing. And then the 7 seed ends up being, again, your Packers, your Minnesota, maybe your Chicago Bears.
Dude, would this be, oh my God.
Could you imagine if Justin Fields eliminated Jalen Hurts?
No, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. It would not be a good stretch for me. Wait, could you imagine though? Would this be worse than the NLCS debacle? If the Eagles potentially lost to like a Desmond Ridder led Falcons or a Justin Fields led Chicago Bears team?
Nah, because at that point expectations would have been shattered.
I'll say this though, this really does. These last 2 games, they remind me of Game 6 and 7 of the NLCS.
It's worse.
It's like a mirror image. It's just a different sport, obviously. Like the bad hitting caught up to the Phillies, the bad plays catching up to us. Both teams look lifeless after looking like they were unstoppable. I mean, it's rough.
And listen, San Francisco and Dallas are really good teams, but the difference is in baseball. Baseball is the only sport in the world where the worst team in the league still wins 40% of their games.
Yeah.
Anybody can beat anybody on a given day.
Right.
And the Eagles just look like they weren't even in the same league as the Cowboys and the 49ers these last 2 weeks.
Yeah, you didn't. I mean, look, you knew that there was going to be a loss, again at some point in the season, probably 2, maybe 3. But the way in which they lost, just I don't know what there is to be confident about at this point in just 2 weeks' time. Look at all the conversations change in 2 weeks.
But there is somebody who's still encouraged. So I teased it earlier. Let's pull up Chris's text here. And I quote, Brock Purdy is still a CFL level quarterback.
Oh, whoa.
The Dallas Cowboys are complete frauds that will only win regular season games. Anybody that is paranoid about the Eagles' chances of repeating as NFC champions is nothing but a troll. So the homer lives.
That was from 2022. There's no way that was from this year.
The homer lives. And until he comes on the podcast and defend himself, that's his quote.
What? What? Oh, my God, dude.
That's how I read it.
That's wild. Well, listen, maybe it's better that guest is sitting a couple weeks out. I can't have that on here right now.
Hey. Listen, there's a lot of stuff we can blame. I mean, you mentioned the defense has given up 10 straight drives with points allowed if you go over the course of both games. The offense has not been much better. They scored 6 points on Sunday night, obviously, when you take out the defensive touchdown. And the coaching hasn't been good. And it's so – the whole season has been tough to watch. We've talked about it many, many times. And it just seems to – it's just come to fruition. It's really all that it is at this point.
Yeah, it's like we've been waiting for this. It's like we've been holding the grenade in our hand with the clip out. We've been just waiting for to drop it, and it's finally fallen out of our hands. It's finally slipped out. But talking about the offense and defense, Adam, do you want to? It is the season of giving. So, is there something that you would give to this Eagles offense right now going forward to help them out?
Yeah, I have some stats here that I want to bring to everybody's attention. What I would bring to this Eagles offense is something that people have been mentioning the last few weeks about creativity and predictability. How about just some differentiation? They have a decent amount of weapons on this team. We've seen it. They throw the ball to 2 players. It's not difficult to figure out. It's A.J. Brown. It's Devontae Smith. That's all Jalen Hurts looks for. That's all they do. You ready for this, Al? A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith have 56% of the team's receptions. Over the last 4 games, they have 66% of the team's receptions. Last year, they were at 52%, so there was a decrease. Here are the other top receiving duos in the league where they stand. The Miami Dolphins, so again, Brown and Smith for the season are at 56. Over the last 4 weeks, they're at 66. Miami Dolphins are at 52%. Seattle Seahawks at 45. Tampa Bay at 44. The Rams at 48. And the Cowboys at 47. The Eagles are far and away the team that relies on their top 2 weapons more than anybody. And if you've seen it the last 2 weeks, teams have figured it out. They have figured it out, and those guys will get their catches, but they're not getting any yards afterwards. Jalen Hurts does not throw the ball to anybody else in this roster. I know Goddard's been out for a few weeks, so that's going to jump that number. But Goddard doesn't scare anybody. Zacchaeus, he's not scaring anybody. Quez Watkins, Julio Jones, DeAndre Swift, I mentioned. He falls over. He doesn't break any tackles. He's scared of contact. There's no way around it. They don't run the ball. The offense is so stagnant, stale, predictable. They need to differentiate themselves. And we can sit here and blame Brian Johnson, and certainly he plays a part. And here we go, Matt McConaughey. Who do we want to blame more, the offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator? Matt, here's a question for you. Why aren't we blaming the head coach? Why is it always the coordinators? Because Nick Sirianni is just as responsible for what's going on as the offensive coordinators are. And to me, he is getting exposed as the fact that the best part of his head coaching ability is that he's a motivator. And Shane Steichen hid a lot of the flaws that Nick Sirianni has because he was able to create such a creative offense that moved the ball. It schemed people to get open, and they've lost that. And if you look at Indianapolis is 7-6 with Gardner Minshew at quarterback. So Shane Steichen was the hidden gem. And I know Sean Desai has been an issue, but to me, and we'll get to the defense. Actually, let's hold off because we're going to get to the defense and what we're going to do with that in a little bit. But to me, Sirianni's been exposed as an X's and O's guy. Brian Johnson obviously is not Shane Steichen. And they're so predictable and it's so easy to stop because they throw the ball to two people.
Did you hear Sirianni's press conference today?
No, I didn't listen.
Somebody asked him about that, and he said something along the lines of, he doubled down. He said, it's no surprise. I'm paraphrasing. It's no secret what we're doing on offense. We throw the ball to three guys, AJ, Devontae, and Dallas. And he just straight up admitted it at his press conference.
I didn't hear that. And to be honest with you, I obviously have a pretty good source within the organization. In training camp, he says that to the number 3 and number 4 wide receivers. He says you're not going to get the ball out. The passing scheme is these three guys. And I guess, that's easy to say. These are the guys who are going to get the ball the most. But that's not how you run an offense. You've got to be able to use your other weapons that are out there, especially when things are going sour.
Well, Adam, as usual, you and I, lately at least, without Chris being here, are on the same page. So the gift I was going to give the offense is a bona fide third option at receiver. And I'm not talking about Dallas Goedert being an option. I'm talking about an actual wide receiver. I'm going to give you the numbers for third receivers for 6 different teams here. So the Eagles, our third receiver, has 15 catches for 193 yards. Dallas, Michael Gallup, 31 catches for 405. Miami, Braxton Berrios, 22 catches for 207. San Fran, Jawan Jennings, 17 for 240. Detroit, Khalif Raymond, 29 for 387. And I'm even going to throw in Baltimore. Do you know who Baltimore's third receiver is, Adam?
Odell?
That Nelson Aguilar. 25 receptions for 314 yards and 3 touchdowns. And I'll tell you what, I lied about the Eagles because I combined Olamide and Quez's stats in the beginning there. They don't have 15 for 190. That's combined. Our third receiver right now is Olamide Zacchaeus with 8 receptions for 144 yards. 8 receptions in 13 games.
How many? So were those actual receivers, or did you include tight ends in those numbers?
Those are the third receivers for those teams that I just named.
Go through those teams again because listen, people love Dallas Goedert in those towns. Oh. How many of those teams have better tight ends than the Eagles? Go through the teams you named.
Ferguson for Dallas.
Okay, I'll take Goddard, but Ferguson's good.
Kittle for San Fran.
Kittle's better than Goddard.
Laporta for Detroit.
Laporta's better than Goddard.
Andrews until the injury for Baltimore.
Andrews is better than Baltimore.
Right?
So really, those are the fourth wide receivers you're naming.
Absolutely, they are. Absolutely, they are. Yep. So that's we're on the same page here. You're giving them the gift of diversity. I'm giving them a third receiver. They don't have one.
And look, we've gone through a lot of this without naming a certain name. And if you've been on Twitter, you've seen the All-22 film. Jalen Hurts is missing missing receivers that are open, and he's not throwing them the ball. I've seen a couple of Twitter feeds that have shown 3 or 4 plays. Orlovsky was on ESPN today breaking down routes showing that Jalen Hurts is just not throwing the football to these guys. There's an underneath route. The other night, it was 3rd and 4. A guy ran an out route. It was wide open, and he tried to stretch the field. And it was the one that AJ dropped, so obviously he shouldn't have dropped it. But the first down's right in front of you, and he looks very confused. He's looked confused all year, and I don't get it. He's regressed a lot.
to go along too with your diversification of the offense, I don't know if you saw those statistics. I'd like to simplify the offense as well. We're at the bottom of the league in slant routes, curl routes, screens. I mean, let's get this guy some easy throws too. Everything doesn't have to be, a post route. Everything doesn't have to be.
But that's what I'm saying. If you look at some of these films, and I'll send you some when we're done, there are easy routes that are out there. He's not throwing them.
I agree with that. I've seen that as well. And when he does throw them, he throws them too late. It's like the receivers get out of their break and he still hasn't thrown it. I don't know what he's waiting for. He's letting the defenders catch up. It's happened more than a couple times in these last few weeks.
It's not pretty. It's not pretty at all on the offensive side. And as ugly as it's been on that side, it probably hasn't been as bad as the defense. So I went first with the offense. So why don't you, if you could give the defense something for Christmas, what would you give them?
My gift for the defense is simple. My gift is the bench. I want to get these guys. I want to get these guys off the field. They're the worst team in the NFL in third down conversion percentage. They give up first downs 48% of the time on third down. Their turnovers forced, they only have 6 interceptions. That's only above the Tennessee Titans in the NFL. They only have 8 fumble recoveries. They have a -4 turnover differential. We need to get these guys off the field. We are seeing the effect of them having to play as much as they've played this season now that we're in week 14 of the year. Guys like Jalen Carter, guys like Hassan, Josh Sweat is a great example of a guy who was electric the first half of the year and has been absolutely quiet. You haven't seen him all of a sudden now. So I want to get these guys the gift of the bench, get us back to winning the time of possession battle, keep the guys out there on offense, run it, grind these teams out, and let's get some easy victories. Get these guys some fresh legs.
Again, you said it earlier, we've been very much on the same page here, and I didn't think that we would be for this one. I almost feel bad for the defense a little bit. And I need to give them some relief. And we talked about it in our preseason episode, and I mentioned some things, and Chris was very animated against it. I thought that there were a lot of changes on the defense that kind of got swept under the rug. And this defense lost a lot of personnel from last year. So we can't hide that. You lost both safeties, Gardner Johnson and Epps, replaced them with inferior talent. Kevin Byard has not been good since he's come over here. TJ Edwards, believe it or not, is a top 10 linebacker on Pro Football Focus. He left to go to Chicago in free agency. Kaiser White, I haven't heard a lot of this year, but was a serviceable player for us last year. They obviously lose Avonte Maddox to injury. And Avonte Maddox is a really good player, but God, he just can't stay on the field. So at some point, if you lose 5 key contributors to your defense and you replace them with who? Nakobe Dean was supposed to step in. Hasn't been able to stay on the field. Morrow's been not good. Cunningham's been okay, but he hasn't been anywhere near the level those guys were last year. So listen, you can blame Sean Desai all you want, and yeah, his scheme hasn't been great, but when you devoid yourself of all this talent, that's where that comes with. And the other big thing from last year is what helped all those guys on the back end. They had 70 sacks last year.
Yep.
70.
Yep.
That was an NFL record. They had 15 more sacks than any other team in the entire league. This year, they are on pace for 48 sacks.
I think they're at, 36 or something right
35,
now?
35, I think. And of that 35, there was a 4-game stretch where they had 18.
Right.
So you take out that stretch, which was, I think it was like weeks 4 through 7, something like that.
Yeah, that was like we planted Howell. We sacked him like 7-8 times that one game.
Yeah, it was Hal. It was the Rams game. It was in that time.
Yeah.
They haven't been able to get to the pass rusher. And if you look at it, I think the reasoning is quite simple. Not only are they on the field too much, Al, but you have guys like Jalen Carter and you have guys like Howard who just haven't played this amount of snaps or this amount of games in their life. And I think they're worn down. And Josh Sweat's another one. You haven't heard from him. I think the defense is worn out. I think personnel-wise, they're hurting. And it's a combination of all those things that I almost feel bad for the defense in the way that they're getting trashed, because I do think the offense has been the bigger disappointment in this stretch.
I absolutely agree. The offense is hanging them out to dry. If there's a side of the football that's going to win us a title this year or should have been the one to win, it's the offense. And the offense just has not been up to snuff, man. They haven't been there.
So the question is this, and this is another question I posed in the preseason. We both think or thought that Jalen Hurts was an elite quarterback in this league. But the argument that I kept putting out there was this. I know Jalen Hurts can be that guy when he has an elite team around him. Now that Jalen has gotten paid, he's not going to have that elite team around him. So is he good enough to be one of those guys who lifts a team up at that point? And that's what we need to see this year. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think we've seen it. And the changes have really been to the defense. The offense hasn't been affected that much.
Yeah, I'm not ready to say that I don't think he can be that guy. I don't know that I'm going to see it this year. I agree with you there. I still am holding on to, I think he's hurt. I think something's wrong with him. I don't know what it is. He still looks slower. He still looks skittish in the pocket. He's looked that way all season long. I still think something's bugging him, and we just don't know what it is. I can't look. I think he's a franchise quarterback. I do. He's not having a great year. He's not. What worries me is, could you imagine this year if he didn't have A.J. Brown on that team? Because A.J. Brown is really what's saving him, besides the tush push, from looking like, an above average quarterback, which is kind of the ceiling of what he looks like right now, to looking like a very pedestrian quarterback. We talked about it last week. He was only slightly ahead of Tommy Cutlets in the QB ranking, and I'm sure he's below him at this point.
Tommy's a winner. We're going to see Tommy in the next couple of weeks.
I'm scared week 17. I don't know what we're going to see down up in the Meadowlands.
So I do want to save my man Chris. The quote I said earlier was fabricated. Chris's actual quote was
was that from 2022 though? Because it sounded like something he said a year ago.
No, it was completely just me making it up. So he said, everything is fair to question now, including the heart and leadership. To be a top team and to get beat up 2 weeks in a row, giving up at one point 10 possessions in a row with scores is a fireable offense, in my opinion. So even Chris has taken a back seat. And
if you're a new listener and you haven't heard Chris yet, that says a lot, because Chris is he's the one who will stay on that ship until it sinks. And if he's getting ready to jump, then that's saying a lot.
Is there going to ever be a bigger have to eat his own crow than Chris if Brock Purdy wins NFL MVP?
No, it's that. And like, even though we're fans, if like, let's say like Embiid led the Sixers to a championship and won finals MVP, that one
would at least taste sweet for us, even though we got stuffed on. This one's going to be really tough for him to eat. Although I think Dak may be the guy who ends up getting it, but we will see. Listen, can we take any positives? Is there anything we can hang our hats on?
I'm going to hang my hat on this. In the beginning of the year, if we zoom out now and we go macro, we said that 4-2 in this stretch of 6 games would be great for this stretch. So there's still time for that to happen if we beat Seattle. And in my opinion, I think there is still just enough time to right the ship. We do still control our own destiny. We do still get the Giants twice, and we still get the Arizona Cardinals.
Control their destiny for the division, not for the
division. Correct, for the division. The turnovers in the Dallas game were bad, but Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown are usually both really careful with the football. Those are uncharacteristic fumbles. Devontae usually averages 1 a year, and that was his 1 this year. The NFL's wacky, man. We're in the Red Zone Network likes to call it the witching hour from like 3 to 4. This is the witching hour of the season. We just saw the Jaguars lose. We just saw the Miami Dolphins lose. We just saw a 3-0 game, like just weird stuff. The Chiefs, they look, their fan base is probably more up in arms than ours is right now. So I just think that there's still just enough time to get things together for a playoff run. And there's still just enough time for things to potentially maybe go a little bit awry for teams ahead of us. We'll have to see.
So if I had to hang my hat on anything, this team has experience. They've been there. They know they can win games when it comes down to it. And then I thought about it a little bit more. They've won playoff games before. But here's my thing, Al. I thought harder about it. The playoff games they won last year, they beat the Giants and they beat the 49ers, who legitimately didn't have a quarterback. Now, they played a great game in the Super Bowl. I think that nullifies any sort of doubts because, they obviously played their hearts out in that game and had a shot. But when I look at their playoff wins, it's not like they beat great teams last year to get to the Super Bowl.
No, there's not much there. There's not much there for sure. I wish you made, for the sake of our listeners and for the Philly fan base, maybe you should have stopped thinking after a while. I know you've been sick. You've probably been able to do nothing but think for a while there. So Maybe you should have stopped short.
Yeah, maybe. So listen, let's play it all out. They are 10-3, same record as the Cowboys. The 4 games left on the Eagles' schedule are at Seattle this coming Monday night, the Giants for 2, 1-1 at each location, and Arizona sandwiched in between. What are the percentage odds that they win all 4 of those games? Because as you mentioned, they win all 4 of those games, they will win the NFC East. And if San Francisco loses a game, they will still be the number 1 seed and get home field throughout in the playoffs.
Right. Well, I think finally it's the Eagles' turn to be backs against the wall. You know, we said that San Fran came in here and it was a game they needed to win. We went to Dallas on Sunday and it was a game they needed to win. We're now at the point where we need to win. And I do still believe, despite the performance that we've seen the last 2 weeks, that we are a notch better than the 4 teams left on our schedule. With that said, momentum's not on our side. I think that the energy that we're talking about is not on our side. I give us to go 4-0. I only give us a 51% chance. I give us
that's a lot higher than I have.
I give us slightly better than a coin toss because as you're about to hear in the prediction, I do still think we're going to beat Seattle. And if we beat Seattle, I give us about an 80% chance from there on out. With the only game I'm worried about being week 18 at the Meadowlands. Just because, New York will be absolutely salivating to be the ones that ruin our season for us. With that said, it might not even mean anything if Dallas loses a game or 2.
Correct.
Dallas
still has Buffalo, Miami, Detroit,
right.
And
they have a tough stretch, and they're underdogs this week at Buffalo. So I'm giving them 51%, slightly better than a coin flip.
I have it down at 35%. Giants are playing good football. I think the Eagles are better, but they might not be better to beat them twice in 3 weeks. Tommy DeVito slinging the rock, dude. Like that team went in and faced a Green Bay team that was playing for a playoff spot last night and pulled it out. And they have to go to Seattle this week, and we'll hear my thoughts on that one in a second. The way this team is playing, and to be fair, has played all year. I don't. 4 in a row is a lot. 4 in a row is a lot, and I know they've done it, but I think they have a little bit of a different mindset now. I think it's been a little bit of a reality check. So I'm not saying it's impossible. I have it at 35%. So basically a 1-3 shot of running the table here.
Yeah, I just think the tone will change if they go into Monday night. And again, I think this team is even though the performance hasn't been there, I think the talent level, I think we're more talented than Seattle. And I think that if we win that game convincingly, it changes the mood going into those last 3 games. Because at the end of the day, New York and Arizona still stink. So this game is obviously this is the game, the Seattle game.
And it'll be interesting. Listen, it's hard to convince players to tank, but sometimes organizations can tank. And at that point, those teams are going to be fighting for a draft pick. I'm sure the New York fan base, you mentioned they were going to be hungry to spoil our season. I'm sure they're not happy about the fact that they've won 2. I think they won 2 games in a row. Have they not?
I believe so.
They've won 2 recently. I can tell you that for sure. Because they could have had a top 5 draft pick, and now they are clearly climbing the ranks at 5 wins at this point. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays itself out. Every week, this week is a new week. You have Monday night, you get the extra day of rest. Why don't we get into the predictions? I'll let you go first.
All right. So, I'm wondering who has the advantage here. Is it Pete Carroll knowing Sean Desai and his tendencies, or is it vice versa? Seattle, correct me if I'm wrong, Adam. Is Geno still out?
I don't know if they've made a declaration on it yet, because he was a game time decision this week. So I got to imagine they'll try and get him in.
Okay. So listen, I'm assuming he's out. If he's in, I guess it doesn't really change anything for me, to be honest. Look, Seattle's still fighting for a playoff spot, so they need this win just as bad as we do. What did I see either of these last 2 weeks that makes me think Philly's going to win this game? Not much, but I just said it for the last 5 minutes that I still think they're more talented. I think they finally turn it around. We said it, going into the San Francisco game, that if we suddenly all of a sudden lose 4 of these last, 6 games 6 games, that's quote, something is wrong. So I'm hoping that it's not that, and that it is literally that we just played 2 of the contending teams in the NFC and in the NFL, and we played them at times that were extremely beneficial for them coming off 10 days rest, and a nightmare situation for us going through that gauntlet that we went through. So Seattle's defense, I looked at it. It's really, really bad. And it should be a great matchup for the Eagles and their struggling offense right now. I'm not sure what we do about DK Metcalf, but I'm not sure what any team does about DK Metcalf. And the Seattle Seahawks still don't seem to win many games. So I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles to win this one and right the ship. And I'm going to make it a score of 27-20.
All right, so you got the Birds. You mentioned Seattle's been struggling. They've lost 4 in a row. They've lost 5 out of 6. They are reeling. If they want to make any sort of run at the playoffs, it starts this week. Their remaining schedule is the Eagles at home. Then they go to Tennessee, which is not an easy place to win, even though they're not a great football team. Pittsburgh at home and at Arizona. I'm sure if you are a Seattle Seahawks fan, you're saying if we can steal this game, there is a road to winning out and getting into the playoffs, because that's where the expectations were coming into the season, and I think that's where they'd like to be to have any sort of a successful run. I'm taking Seattle Monday. I think this team is lost. Now they got to go across the country in prime time. It's a big spot. I wouldn't be shocked if the Eagles won, but I just can't put my money there this week after I picked them to beat Dallas last week. I'm going to take Seattle 27-21, and then you're going to see the real panic set in on Tuesday morning if that happens.
Oh, yes, you will. Yes, you will. Part of what makes me optimistic about this game, though, Adam, is the spread, and the spread being Eagles. It opened at Eagles -4.5. It sits at -4 right now.
That's a Drew Lock line, I feel like.
I think so, too, which is why I thought that Geno was out.
If Drew Lock plays, I think the Eagles have a much better shot.
Oh,
I just looked it up. It looked like Pete Carroll said they'll have a Geno update on Thursday.
Okay.
Doesn't sound great, but we will see.
Okay.
Before we get into our locks of the week, which have been on fire, I want to tell you a little bit about our sponsor for tonight's episode. It's SeatGeek. Download the SeatGeek app for the best deals and events in your area. Sports, concerts, comedy shows, you name it. SeatGeek has you covered. If you're a first-time user, use the promo code 3Keystone, the number 3, Keystone. $20 off your first purchase. Al, you've done the math many, many times, my man, right?
Many times.
You have an example for us tonight?
You could have went to last night's Sixers game for free. I know that because Washington Wizards were in town for the 45th time this season, and the cheapest ticket I found was $19. So you were getting in the door for free last night.
So did you watch the game last night?
I hit parts. I mean, what am I watching? I watched the beginning. I saw Maxey hit 4 threes in like 3 minutes.
We've had the discussion on whether or not we could stay on the floor against a Division I women's basketball team. It's been a debate. We can stay on the floor with the Washington Wizards.
They're that bad. They're that bad, man. They're terrible.
That team
and that organization as a whole,
they have nothing.
Yeah.
They don't have a high draft pick that they're building around. That team is unwatchable.
Yeah. Yep. All you got to do if you're a fan of the Washington Wizards is what we did as fans of the process era Sixers at this point, and just enjoy being able to go to a game for pennies on the dollar, rent out an entire section, go get yourself the courtside seats that you've never gotten before, because that's the only thing you got right now if you're a Wizards fan.
The difference, though, between those two teams, and you're right about the tickets, and I'm not arguing it, the Sixers process team was young guys fighting for jobs.
Yeah.
This is veterans going through the motions. It's a million times worse to watch.
Yeah, and you have to put up with watching Jordan Poole. I mean, that's in and of itself, that's just an embarrassment.
That's guest boy.
That is.
I think he had him for a most improved player.
That's wild. That's insane.
All right, let's get to our locks of the week.
Yep.
I mentioned last week we were both 8-5 going into last week. We are now both 9-5. For the season, I don't want to toot my own horn. I was buried. If you're not following us on Twitter, not only do we post our lock of the week, but we post 4 additional picks on Sunday morning. I'm 20-10 in my last 30.
Picks overall.
Picks.
Okay.
I was down over 10 units, and now I'm in the positive.
Going streaking.
So we've been hot. I'll start it tonight, Al. I'm dipping my toe back in the well. I actually wanted to call last week's game. I was going to put it on Twitter, but I didn't want to get cocky. My game of the year.
Whoa.
That was last week.
Stone cold lead pipe lock.
And it cashed easy. You ever make that bet where you put the bet in and you just know it's going to hit and you just watch it play itself out because the line was wrong?
I did that. Yeah, I did that one time. I can remember clearly. It was 2000. I want to say, hold on a second, 2009. The Eagles opened up the season at St. Louis, and they were given 3, and I put like $500 on it. And at the time, that was like my whole bank account. But I just knew they were going to win.
My best one of all time that I actually put money on was about 2005 as well. College basketball. It was Illinois, Ohio State, and it was the Illinois team that was undefeated. And that Ohio State team, which was pretty good as well, but they were tournament ineligible for whatever reason. I don't even remember at the time. And it was their last game of the season, and it was at home, and Illinois was undefeated. And I knew they were going to play like that game like it meant the world because it was the last game of the year. They were 10-point dogs. I think they won by 8 outright. Remember it like it was – I was working at Sports Unlimited in the Plymouth Meeting Mall watching the game on the TV. But I digress. I'm going back to the well with the Cincinnati Bengals. Laying 3.5 at home against the Minnesota Vikings. I think Jake Browning is decent. I've heard a lot of comparisons on the radio. Could he be the Brock Purdy of this year? I'm not sure about that. But what I do know is that this Cincinnati team, as I mentioned last week, still has playoff hopes. And when you look at the teams above them right now, Indianapolis, who they just whooped, Pittsburgh, who is in a lot of trouble, Cleveland, who's running Joe Flacco out there at quarterback, there are teams to be jumped there. They are now sitting, I believe, at 7-6, so tied with Pittsburgh. They are live for a playoff spot. And as much as I like this Minnesota team, I think it's crazy how much better their defense has gotten compared to where it was last year. They are now running Nick Mullins out at quarterback. The Josh Dobbs experiment has
over. Crashed and burned.
They won last week against the Raiders 3-0. 3-0. I don't think that's going to be good enough to beat the Cincinnati Bengals. So give me the Bengals laying 3.5 at home. I just don't see how Minnesota keeps up with them.
I thought about that game. I don't mind that pick at all. And I also like Browning. I think he's been a little bit of a spark plug for that offense. My best bet this week, I'm taking a team that you talked about a little bit earlier, Adam. I'm going to go ahead and take the Indianapolis Colts. They're given 2.5 points at home against a Pittsburgh Steelers team that's coming to town on a Saturday. So a little bit of a short rest.
Since the game's on a Saturday.
Okay, there you go. So double best bets. Look, guys, load up, right, on the best bets. You guys heard we're doing pretty well here. And what was it, 9-5?
9-5. Each of us are 9-5 on best bets this year.
Right. So load up on the best bets and bring all that money with you to the on Sunday. I've seen enough of this Pittsburgh Steelers team. They absolutely stink. Their offense is dreadful. They have Kenny Pickett out. They have what's his name?
Trubisky.
Mitchell Trubisky in. Not an upgrade. Indianapolis is 4-0 against the spread as a favorite this season, and I anticipate them being 5-0 after this Saturday. Give me the Colts laying 2.5.
All right. And listen, I don't want to steal all your thunder. I mentioned I'm 20-10 in my last 30. You for the season, I believe, are up 4 units. So you've had a positive season as well.
I think I hit the last 4 or 5 best bets in a row.
Yeah, you've been hot. Even though you skipped that 1 week, it was a bye week, so it's a little bit asterisk.
But that's part of the magic. I needed a breather. Part of knowing how to be a good gambler here is knowing when to take a break. Got to walk away from the table every now and then.
I hear you. All right, well, good luck to you on Saturday this week as we have Saturday football, so that'll be great to see. I don't think we'll be watching the Thursday game when we got Chargers, Raiders on Thursday. I don't think I've watched a Thursday night game all year.
We do have Chargers, Raiders, but wait a minute, real quick. Why the hell is there Saturday games?
Because when college football ends, they always throw a couple games on Saturday.
All right.
Easton Stick getting the start for the Chargers this week.
Easton Stick.
All right, let's get into segment 2. There's some big news on a hot stove. Shohei. We knew it was going to be a big contract. We knew the man was going to get paid. 7 years, $700 million.
So 10 years, right? 10 years.
10 years, $700 million. Thank you. And the bigger news came out yesterday. The way the contract is structured is Shohei OHTANI is going to get $2 million annually for the next 10 years.
It's insane.
And then the next 10 years after that, when he's not even a member of the Dodgers, he's going to get $68 million a year.
Yeah, It's a Bonilla deal.
It's not. No, it's an OHTANI. It's insane. The contract itself is $275 million more than the next largest contract in baseball history. It's the largest contract in sports history, beating out Lionel Messi's contract with FC Barcelona. What are your overall thoughts when you heard the news? Give me the first, when you heard the first news break, and then we'll dive into the aspects of the contract afterwards.
My very first thought was that how bad it would suck to be a Blue Jays fan, because they were Twitter and the sports world was abuzz with all of a sudden Shohei was going to Toronto. So my initial thought was, oh, wow, he like not him, but the media really kind of just like pulled the rug out from under the Blue Jays.
I actually don't even think the Blue Jays are the biggest losers in this deal. And my point's going to get a little bit taken aback because of what happened a little bit earlier. But to me, the biggest loser is the San Francisco Giants. And I say that because even though you didn't hear a lot about them now, the Giants have been in the rumor mill for a big hitter for what seems like forever. They were in on Carlos Correa, and they thought the deal was done. And then he jumped to the Mets, which ended up getting nixed, ended up going to the Twins. They were in on Aaron Judge, and Aaron Judge said, "Nah, I'm good. I'm going to stay with the Yankees." They were in on OHTANI from everything we've heard, even though it wasn't a finalist. And not only does OHTANI not go there, he goes to their rival, the LA Dodgers. Now, they signed another Japanese outfielder about an hour and a half ago, who I don't know a ton about. But I just feel like the Giants have been this team that they just can't seem to get that big name that they've wanted since Bonds left.
I think that's a product of the city. That city is like falling apart. It's like a failed state right now. There's like lawlessness in San Francisco. I don't know if you know about all this.
Yeah, no, I do know a little bit about it. And I've heard it's gotten worse as far as homelessness and all that stuff. But I'm I've never been.
Just, like cars are getting broken into like multiple times a day. It's
I didn't know all that.
Yeah, it's rough out there. But go ahead.
To me, the Dodgers couldn't afford to lose this deal. The Dodgers have been setting themselves up to make a monster run at Shohei OHTANI for a few years now. I just have some notes here. They let almost $100 million in salary walk after last season. Obviously, you know Trey Turner, Justin Turner as well, Cody Bellinger, Craig Kimbrell, David Price came off their books all last year. They didn't really add anybody. The year before that, they let Corey Seager walk, who is now a two-time World Series MVP. So to me, there was a plan to go after OHTANI at full blast.
Okay, so
and I'm sure
meditated.
And I'm sure that when those Blue Jays rumors hit on Friday or Saturday, whatever that was the additional leverage they needed to get that contract boosted to $700 million, because they couldn't really afford to lose them at that point, especially with the playoff struggles that they've had.
Yeah. Yeah. I just, to me, whenever we talk about money with baseball, it is like, it doesn't resonate with me because it's monopoly money. There's no cap. It doesn't matter. It's just whatever the team is willing to spend, they'll spend. So listen, he did them a huge favor with the way it's structured, because even though there's no cap, they're definitely going to have, obviously more to spend now in these next 10 years to try and put a winning team around him. So he did them a favor in that sense. Absolutely. I just think that now, does this make them the team to beat for the next year, for the next 10 years? What's what makes it worth it for LA here?
So it's a jump, that's for sure. I mean, there's no way you can't get the best player in baseball and not take a jump. With that said, I still don't think as constructed, they are better than the Atlanta Braves at this point in time. They really have some starting pitching issues. And remember that OHTANI will not pitch this year because he had the Tommy John surgery later in the year. Add to the fact that, we saw last year how Tommy John can affect a hitter for the first half of the year, which he did with Bryce Harper, who really struggled with his power numbers. Honestly, the Dodgers aren't done, but their starting pitching is not good at this point in time. They'll get Walker Buehler back, but it looks like Urias may end up going to jail at this point in time for his domestic abuse. They have Bobby Miller, who's a young stud. They don't have Kershaw re-signed. He's a free agent at this point. I assume he comes back, but I'm not even sure with his playoff struggles how that's going to work itself out. But what's crazy is because of the way they structured this contract, Al, the Dodgers payroll right now sits at $160 million. The Philadelphia Phillies payroll is $234 million.
Wow.
The contract was bullshit. Like I think it's bullshit. And the fact that Major League Baseball doesn't have a rule to go against that is crazy to me.
They will. They have to. Because if they're going to play, ball with no cap, there has to be something that can be done to guys can't do this. You can't stack a team like this.
Now look, I don't think I do think there's going to be legislation against this type of contract, at least to this extent. But I don't think you're going to see a lot of it because how many athletes are really going to push that much time before they get their money? Ohtani's able to do it because he has all the endorsements and he's going to make $50 million in just off the field stuff that's going to line his pocket. So he doesn't have to worry about that. But how many other athletes are going to say, oh, you know what, I'll just take $2 million a year and then wait and see what happens?
Yeah, we're really going to see those New Balance commercials shoved down our throat now for the next 10 years, especially if you live in the LA area. But in my opinion, though, this deal, if Shohei can't come back to the mound and be a dominant pitcher again after tearing, this is his second ulnar tear in 5 years. So if he can't come back and be he has to be a dominant pitcher for this contract to be worth it, in my opinion. Does he? Is he able to come back from that? I know he's only 29 years old, but clock is ticking, man. Father Time is undefeated.
Yeah, I mean, the plan. I don't think the Dodgers give him $700 million if the plans are for him not to pitch anymore.
I agree with that, but there's no guarantee he's going to come back. And again, he can't just be a middle of the road pitcher for this money. He has to be a top end pitcher, number one or number two guy.
Correct. Well, you look at it like you got to look at it like this. Harper, and we're going to talk a little bit more about Harper in a minute, got $330 million, right, over 13 years. That was a few years ago. So the market obviously has changed as we moved forward. So Ohtani as just a hitter is probably worth $400 million.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
So at that point, you're taking him at $300 million as a pitcher. So yeah, you need him to come up and be an ace level pitcher. Maybe not the best pitcher in baseball, but he's got to be an ace at that point for you. There's no question.
Absolutely. But at the end of the day, I still rate this deal. I don't know if you're ready to give your rating yet. I still rate it a 10 out of 10.
It's an 11 out of 10.
Yeah, it's a 15 out of 10. You got the best pitcher, the best player in baseball, and in my opinion, he's the best in baseball history. He's unreal, and the only thing that is keeping him from getting that tag, there's two, is that he wasted the beginning of his career in playing for the Angels, who never did anything with him, and the language barrier. The dude can't speak English. So that makes him unmarketable in this country. But if it wasn't for that, if he looked like Mike Trout and played for the Yankees, can you imagine the attention that he would have gotten these last? How long has he been in the league? 6 years?
Well, he hasn't gotten into a playoff game, so it's been impossible for other people to see him because nobody's staying up on the West Coast to watch the Angels.
But no, and that's part of my point. But it's also baseball's not a one-man show. How much can he do?
Right. Well, if there's ever been a one-man show, he's tried to be it.
As close to it as you can get.
The deal's an 11 out of 10 because not only, again, for the Dodgers' sake, are they paying him $2 million this year as far as his salary goes. He opens up so many business opportunities for them. It's not just a baseball deal. They're going to get sponsorships. They're going to get advertisements from the not only baseball, but the Japanese market as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Yamamoto ends up going to the Dodgers at this point. I don't know what the relationship with him and Ohtani is, but the Dodgers they've been in that Japanese market before even Ohtani. I don't remember Kaz Ishii was there.
Yeah.
Hiroki Kuroda was there. So this is not new to them to and I think with the money that they saved, that opens up and a need for pitching. Like I think they're going to be players in that market as well. So I'd be shocked if they didn't go there. And like I said, from a business perspective, it's fantastic. And you know what? Look, if I was the Dodgers owner, I'd ride out these 10 years, and then before I got to give them $68 million, I might sell the team.
See you later.
Yeah, get out of there.
And you've talked about the pitching. The hitting for the Dodgers is still there. You're talking about a top five in the lineup of Mookie Betts, Shohei, Freddie Freeman, Will Smith, Max Muncy. That's still a very formidable top five in the lineup.
For sure. And look, the Dodgers have been the best team in baseball I'm pulling up their records here. That's not what I wanted to look at here. it's been a considerable period of time here. Give me a second I'm really struggling here on my baseball reference page.
Well, while you're doing that, I do want to mention I was going to talk about the deal also being good for the Dodgers because of the attention that he brings. But then I looked up the Dodgers' attendance, and they don't even need the attendance boost. The Dodgers, did you know this? They've been first every year in attendance the last 10 years, other than the COVID year. So for the last 10 years, the LA Dodgers have had the best attendance in baseball.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
But what I will tell you is, out of the last 11 years, they've won the division 10 times. And do you know how many games they won the year they did not win the division?
90.
106.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's got to be the most ever to not win a division, right?
Yeah, I think that was the year the Giants had won 107. That was 2021. The first year Kapler was in San Francisco.
Yeah.
So the Dodgers have been the best team in baseball. Again, the wins in that stretch, 92, 94, 92, 91, 104, 92, 106, 106, 111, and 100. And then the only season I left out was the COVID year where they went 43 and 17.
Yeah.
So they've been the best team. The problem is, Al, they haven't won a World Series outside of the COVID year.
So bottom line, right? Let's wrap this up. What makes this worth it? How many rings do they have to win?
2.
Yeah, I
At
agree.
least 2.
I agree.
And baseball's hard, so I don't think it has to be more than that. But I think they got to win at least 2 championships at this point. And especially with the failures that they've had so far as being the pinnacle team in the Major League Baseball.
Right, because they've won only one, right, in this stretch.
They won 1. It was a COVID year, so I don't even know if we count it.
Right, exactly. So they do need to win 2. They need to win 2.
All right. I also wanted to transfer this over. I mentioned there was a couple different hot stove things going on. Excuse me there. Got the cough still lingering. There's been rumors that Bryce Harper is looking for a contract extension. Now, again, Harper signed a 13-year, $330 million contract prior to the 2019 season. So play that self out. He's 5 years into a 13-year contract. Now, Harper will be the 21st highest paid player in baseball this year at $25 million a year, and he'll likely fall even lower once Yamamoto and Bellinger do sign. So he will probably fall to 23rd. Harper's deal will expire when he's 39 years old. Why would they give him an extension at this point?
I don't know necessarily that it's that he wants the extension or that isn't who's his agent? Is it Boris?
Yeah, it's Boris.
Yeah, it's the money. It's that he deserves more money than these guys that are ahead of him right now that are making more per year. I don't think it's necessarily the extension. The extension is the way for them to not make it sound like they're being greedy assholes. That's my opinion. But that's what they're being.
I agree with you 100%. But we don't see this in baseball. You signed the contract.
Yeah.
If you wanted the opportunity to get a raise, you could have put player options in and opted out.
Yep.
There's really not – the only sport where you see this is football because there's not guaranteed contracts. If Bryce Harper over this 5 years had played 35 games a season, the Phillies can't go to him and say, we want money back.
Right.
You signed the deal. And I know you've gone above and beyond and been everything that we've wanted and more, but I don't see how he has a leg to stand on 5 years into a 13-year contract.
He doesn't. And I think it's just Boris being an agent. He's doing his job, and he recognizes that this city needs Bryce Harper in a way that no franchise in baseball has needed a player since maybe Ken Griffey Jr. in Seattle or a Cal Ripken in Baltimore.
Jeter in New York.
Right. Like this is, and you can even argue that because there were so many other stud players in New York at the time. He has totally and completely revitalized baseball in Philadelphia. I mean, we're ready to put him on Mount Rushmore at this point. And I think Boris is just, he's taking advantage of that.
You're 100% right in everything you're saying. It's just a matter of, you should have thought of that beforehand if it's my opinion. So look, if I'm the Phillies, I'm doing what you said. Like, we just saw the deal that OHTANI signed, right? If you want to give, I'm not extending the contract past age 39. We have enough long-term contracts as it is. If you want to give him a raise of, $5 million a year, and figure it out at that point as far as what you want to go, and maybe throw some deferrals at the end. You want to give him, $10 million in 20 whatever year it was after he's expired. But I don't want to get locked into another year if he's 40 years old, especially the way he treats his – not that he treats his body. That's not the way I want to say it there. Hold on.
Well, not only his body, Adam, but I didn't realize that his wife was an Ohio State alum. And after I saw that picture of them on the field in that Ohio State red, it made me want to throw up. So, no, I don't want to extend them anymore either.
You need to stop being so jaded as a Penn State guy.
How can I? They're literally like the 4 years I was there, they were literally our rival. I know that.
No, they were. They were never your rival.
No, they're our rival.
Were.
We're not their rival.
Yeah.
I get that.
Did you ever hear the chants? Did you ever remember when Maryland basketball was good?
Yeah, and they thought Duke. I know, and Duke would say, "Not our rival."
Yeah,
I get
great
that.
Chant. Great chant.
I know. They're not. We're not their rival. They were ours for those 4 years.
Matt McConaughey in the chat. He's going to get free food and booze in Philly for a long time. Take your $300 million and relax. Exactly. Like at what point, like, are we talking about another $30 million? Like, is it really making that big of a difference between that and all the money that he's made in a prior thing, or is it just a pride thing in regards to where you're at salary wise?
Yeah, it's a pissing contest. All right. Do you want
to be fair? To be fair, to close it out, I think he makes $2 million more than Dansby Swanson at this point in time.
Yeah, I saw that, and he's like, "Who's he?" I saw a few names that he was making less than, and it's an absolute disgrace. Some of the guys that are on that list.
That's
Anthony Rendon, he's making less than.
Yeah,
I don't even know what team Anthony Rendon plays for. Is it still
the Angels? The Angels.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that. He could play for the Savannah Bananas for all I know. I have no idea.
All right. So that'll be it for segment 2. Good baseball chatter. The Phillies been a little too quiet for my liking, Al. Tell you that.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, look, the 1 year extension, the only 1 year for Uncle Rob, that little rough, man.
I wouldn't even have done that. But let's move on to segment 3. We have a special returning guest. Tuna is in the building.
Big Tuna.
Play a nice game we put together to so you can build a good franchise.
Excited to play the game. I'm curious, what's the 15-second summary on your Eagles thoughts? I missed segment 1.
Just download it tomorrow, Tuna. You'll be all right.
I'm probably going to cash out of my Eagles Super Bowl ticket.
Really? No, you guys are too low on them. You're too low. They're going to run 4-0.
My question for you was, last time we heard from you, you thought the Steelers were going to get the number 1 pick in the draft.
I still stand by it. This is a terrible team that somehow got. This is a terrible team that somehow got 7 wins. They are awful. This offense is atrocious.
Mathematically, I don't think that's possible. I don't think that's possible mathematically, is it?
No, but we deserve it. We should just be voted in like they voted in Alabama to the college football playoff. They should just vote us as the number 1 pick. We are horrific to watch on offense.
I did see a rumor that you were linked to Al's boy, Justin Fields, as a trade rumor for next year.
I will sadly take it. Anything. Pickett's not it. Trubisky isn't it. We're not going to get anyone good. We're not going to, Bo Nix isn't going to do it. So, the team's awful. And again, however you guys are on the Eagles, you're too low. They're going to run 4-0. They're going to be fine.
Real quick, is it time to move on from Tomlin?
No.
Okay.
No, this team doesn't have much talent. And to be 500 with them is amazing. No, there's no quarterback there. There was a terrible OC. We just got to bring a new OC in and just try something new.
Yeah. All right. I read the quote about Tomlin, and you would know more than me. It said, Tomlin will make a bad team average. He makes an average team good. He makes a good team great, and he makes a great team good.
Yeah. So it seems about right. We blow 1 game every year we shouldn't, but we also win like 3 that we shouldn't. He's a good coach.
Yeah. And they've certainly done that this year. They've lost games they shouldn't have won and won games they shouldn't have won.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move into segment 3 here. So I've taken the liberty of I put together a game that I've seen played before online, and I usually see it played in the NBA space where you'll see somebody pull up a random team generator. The logo is switching, and it stops on a team, and the person has to take somebody from that team and put them into a starting 5 lineup. And I thought that it would be fun. Dan, Tuna Dan, you're not much of an NBA guy. So I thought it would be fun to transfer this and take it into the NFL. And we're going to put together some teams. And what we decided, Dan, is it has to be players from today. So all of the picks have to be players that are currently on NFL rosters, except for one wild card pick that can be an all-timer.
All right.
Just
All right.
one. Okay. Now I'm going to share my screen. So this is one of those segments. If you're listening to the audio version, if you can get eyes on the YouTube, you might want to do that. I'm going to share my screen where you will see the wheel that I will be spinning, which I did not check. I'm just assuming all 32 teams are on this wheel. And then I'm going to switch back and forth. I have a spreadsheet that will keep track of our picks.
So I'll do draft order. We didn't do a draft order, huh?
I assumed that that we would have to have a draft order. Yeah. Did you dig
so
one up?
I just pulled it up. I got Tuna, then me, and then you.
All right.
We'll go Snake. I want to clarify one thing. When we talk about legend, I think we all have to agree that it has to be the main team that guy played for.
Yeah.
So, for instance, like, not that anybody's going to take Fred Taylor.
I can't take Oakland Randy Moss.
Correct. There you go. Perfect.
Arizona Emmitt Smith.
Right.
All right. Now, here's the other thing we have to decide here right now. Do we want to eliminate the team every time they're picked?
No.
Okay. So leave them on the wheel.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. Tuna, are you ready to spin the wheel?
I'm ready.
All right. First team is the LA St. Louis Rams. So you, my friend, can take any of the following positions. You can take a quarterback, a running back. We have 2 receivers that we need to take, a tight end, or anyone on the defense, any position on the defense.
I'm going to take Aaron Donald.
That's a good pick. That was the pick.
Donald. Was that the pick?
Yeah, that was the pick.
That was the – I guess there's depth at the running back position, but the pick wasn't Marshall Faulk here?
Nah, Aaron Donald's one of the best of all time. And you can get him on a current roster. You save your legend.
Oh, man. Yeah, okay. All right. Touche. I'm glad I didn't have the first pick. Although Matt McCuddy agrees with me. That's why Matt's going to be on the pod soon. All right, Seltzer, let me go back to the wheel.
You got to save your legend for
That's a good point. All right, you ready to spin?
Spin that wheel.
Spin the wheel. You have the Raiders.
I'm going to go John Madden. No, I'm just kidding.
We drafted a coach.
I'll go Devontae Adams.
All right, so here we go. Rams. So you're going to get Devontae Adams.
Guess going to owe me $20 for that Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs debate earlier this year.
Yeah, Diggs lost just enough games or sat out of just enough games to screw him, I think, right?
No, he's got Adams. I got Diggs.
Oh, you have Diggs.
Yeah,
Adams
Diggs,
I've been keeping up with Devontae Adams. He's having a shit year.
Yeah, well, the Raiders just having a shit year.
That's true.
They just lost 3-0.
All right, I'm up for 2.
You're up for 2.
What do I have here? The Jacksonville Jaguars.
Ooh, Mark Brunell off the board.
Yikes. That's a big yikes here. Who do I take? Man, I kind of might have to take the legacy player here, right?
I don't know, dude. Who you gonna take?
Jesus.
Jimmy Smith?
This is brutal.
Keenan McCardell.
Yeah.
Fragile Freddy.
Kyle Brady, Penn Stater.
Wow, this is rough, man. Jeez.
Travis Etienne.
I think I might have. Oh my God.
Man, Al screwed himself in his own game. He can't think of a
round
Jaguar.
1 having trouble.
Natron means business.
I can think of them, but I have in my head now that I have to save the all-timer, which, boy. All right. I'm gonna take
Tony Baselli. Play him on D.
I'm gonna take the all-timer here. No, you know what? I'm going to take a guy who I tweeted about. I'm going to take the superior Josh Allen this season.
Yikes.
I'm going to save the all-timer. We're going to see where this goes.
You just remember that guy was on that team.
No, I had it in my head the whole time, but I really didn't want to take him.
All right, listen. I want to throw a potential rule change out there. Now that we've gone through the first round, I'm kind of in the boat of we should just do one per team. If it comes up again, we should skip it. Only if everybody's in agreement.
So start eliminating the teams here.
Yeah, I don't think we need to go Jaguars, Raiders, or Rams again.
No, because you know what? I want you guys to get the freaking Jaguars now.
All right, that's fine. They're still on then.
Spin the wheel. I
I
need some good from here on out here.
Woo.
Oh, this is an easy one. The Miami Dolphins. Give me Tyreek Hill all day, baby.
I can't believe you didn't go Tua.
No, are you kidding me? Thank God I got
Cheetah.
that. That might have saved my opening 2 rounds right there. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, Tyreek's the man.
All right.
All right, back to me.
Elsa, you're up for a spin here. Baltimore Ravens. All right. Actually, that's the Calgary Stampede.
I'm going to
Go to your roster here so you can see it. Your one pick. Now this is a team. There's quite a few legacy players, man.
That's what I'm thinking. It might be time. It might be time to bust one out. I'm going to go with Ray Lewis. I'm going to put him on the defense because I got to shout out my man Guest here.
So you get the all-time pick there with
My
Ray
all-timers
Lewis.
off the board. Ray Lewis.
I respect that. I don't know where you could have went. Present
the current
day.
team it would have to be Lamar.
Lamar is it. Yeah.
Which might not be a bad with the quarterback play in this league. Lamar's not a terrible pick. I'm just not a Lamar guy.
I spoke about Nelson Aguilar earlier. He's having a hell of a season, Adam.
Yeah, no doubt.
Mark Andrews at tight end would have been just to fill that tight end spot because I feel like we all leaned on defense very early.
Yeah, I'm going to end up with a team where I don't even know who the tight end is on the team.
Right.
Yeah,
all right,
Andrews wouldn't have been a bad pick. Ray Rice may have been going to.
Oh, Tuna, you have the Seattle Seahawks for this pick. So Tuna's already picked his defensive player.
Yeah.
All
Does it gotta be DK? I think I gotta go DK Metcalf.
Yeah. That's
Not Kenneth Walker's not good enough.
Did you give any thought to Drew Lock?
I did not.
Did you get? I was going to say loaf with the poo-poo.
So we all have one wide receiver and one defensive player at this point in time.
Yep. Which makes sense, right? Because the wide receiver pool is so deep anymore in the NFL these days.
Yo, if I got legacy for Seahawks, is there anyone other than Sean Alexander who would even qualify?
Yeah, you could have gone Richard Sherman. Oh, you got defense.
The D's going though.
Yeah. Maybe Ricky Waters. Although I think he might be Sanford.
Who was Seattle's receiver all those years? Like when we were
Darryl Jackson.
Oh,
Dougie Baldwin.
Oh, I was a big Darryl Jackson guy, man.
Yeah, we all were.
Ugh, yikes! All right, let's go back to the wheel.
This is Tuna again, right?
Yeah, this is Tuna again. This is round 3. Pick one. We got
the Dallas Cowboys.
How about them Cowboys?
I think I'm going to go legacy. Emmitt Smith at running back.
I don't know about that pick. I think that's a reach.
I think that's a reach too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you got to go Dak and save the legacy pick. I mean, Dak could win MVP this year.
Yeah, you were probably right. That was probably the route to go.
Tuna. Let it marinate a little. You're rushing into. You're nervous. You're rushing into these picks.
Running the pick up too fast.
I'm glad he got that because for either one of us to have taken Dak would have not been a good look for the brand.
I would have taken Dak.
All right, I'm just putting in I'm messing this up. The picks, so we know when they were taken here. Once we're all said and done. All right, Adam, you're up. Let me get the wheel back up.
It's in the wheel, baby. I got a good feeling I'm gonna get my quarterback.
You're getting the Raiders again. I hope you get the Raiders 4 more times.
Oh,
Denver Broncos. We have the Denver Broncos.
I already took my.
Uh-oh. Jerry Jeudy incoming.
No shot. I'll take. Oh God. I'll go. Javonte Williams. I like Javonte.
How do you
He's a
spell
pretty
Javont?
Yeah, that's correct. You never know with the running backs in this league. Sometimes you just got to fill it up.
That brings me to a theory I have. The NFL is so bad this year. The offense is so bad. And my theory is that it's because we've gone away from the stud running back. And where 10 years ago and 20 years ago, there would be these crap quarterbacks, you would still have the studs to lean on. And I think that's part of the problem that nobody's talking about anymore is that you just don't have good running backs either.
I would agree with that.
There's a guy that can't carry the ball 28 times for 150 yards.
I do think the quarterback play is worse, but that's a great point as to why it's even more visible at this point because of the lack of a running game.
Think about a Jamal Lewis helping out Trent Dilfer in Baltimore. Obviously, the defense helped him out too, but I mean, you got a lot. Brad Johnson and Warwick Dunn and Mike Allstott.
Yeah, no doubt.
Even 5 years ago when Dak was a rookie, Ezekiel Elliott, carried that team.
Yeah, one of the last studs. All right, am I on the wheel? Can you guys see the wheel again?
You're on the wheel.
All right, let's go. Let's spin the wheel, baby. I got 2 here. And
you gonna take them?
The San Francisco 49ers. I'm gonna go ahead and take my running back here. Christian McCaffrey.
So off brand for you.
This is great.
You got to take Brock.
You can't take Brock. Look at that. My team is dominant so far.
We've passed on the top 2 MVP favorites in the entire league.
My team is dominant, dude. Look at that. CMC and Tyreek.
Yeah, this wheel's a little bit top heavy in certain spots.
It's not random. I'm just playing a video that I recorded earlier. I already picked all that. All right. Here's my this is round 4. Pick one. What do we have? We're going with the Minnesota Vikings. Oh, I could have gotten JJ. Oh, I can still get JJ. Let's go. Yeah. Justin Jefferson. Are you kidding me?
Oh my. Dude, you're so off brand.
Well, listen.
You're so off brand.
Listen, as much as I want to take Moss here, my favorite player of all time, if you're new to the pod or if you're new to my life, I have a legacy pick left, and I have the hardest position potentially in tight end. I can't spin this wheel and get like the Commanders. At least if I get the Commanders in my legacy pick, I can take Chris Cooley.
You're so concerned about Chris Cooley that you skipped Randy Moss, your boy.
I'm going to take Justin Jefferson, dude. I have no issues taking Justin Jefferson here.
Man,
you can't
I
talk
don't
me
even
out
know who you are anymore.
You can't talk me out of this, dude.
You are a new man.
Yeah. I can't believe you passed on Moss.
Yeah.
It's in. Jefferson's in.
That squad is, again, the wheel's a little top heavy here.
All right.
I keep getting these AFC West teams.
We're going to go back to Seltzer here, and we're hoping for a Raiders duplicate.
Here come the Colts.
The Detroit Lions. And you need a quarterback, a receiver, and a tight end. I know who you're taking. You got to.
I got to fill the tight end spot, so I'm going to go with my boy Sammy Laporta.
You're going to go
Laporta. In my opinion, Sammy Laporta might be the next closest thing that we've had to Gronk. I'm putting that out there right now. And my team sucks, but Sam
That's
Laporte is good.
that's a hell of a take right there.
Dude, Gronk may be a reach. You're
Yeah,
probably right.
Tuna, tell me about Sam Laporta. What do we know about Sam Laporta here? Not much.
Yeah, what's
No,
this
I,
kid
I
called?
he's having a hell of a season. But I don't know. I don't know if I put him in Gronk level yet. He
I'm
kind of
not
tailed
saying
off
yet.
after the front half.
I'm saying he's got the potential.
Yeah.
What was
He's strong.
was Laporta Michigan State?
Iowa, I think.
No, it was Iowa.
The fact
Iowa tight ends are ridiculous. They had
It's a
Laporta,
factory,
they
dude.
had Fant, Kittle.
Dallas Clark back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Well,
don't
look.
know how Iowa became tight end U, but they're strong.
We have after Tuna's pick, we have 2 picks left, and none of us have a quarterback, and that's going to be the make or break.
Who do you think I was taking? Amon-Ra?
Yeah, man, that's your boy. You picked him like as the number 3 or 4 receiver this year.
And he's number 6. So take it easy.
No, listen, I liked the pick. I'm just saying, when you take him that high, you got to put your money where your mouth is.
But to your point, there's so many receivers out there. You can't get stuck with a. You might get stuck with a Jack Stoll if you're not paying attention.
That's true. Listen, it's nice having the best in the league right now at all the skill positions. This is crazy.
Yeah, can we just start over? I got a whole new strategy now.
Ray Lewis might take out a couple guys on your team though.
All right, Tuna, I'm spinning the wheel for you here.
I don't even know what I'm hoping for. Kansas City?
Uh-oh. We got the Bengals.
There you go. That's the easy one.
Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, it's Burrow or Chase. I'm gonna take Joe Burrow.
Yeah, that's the pick.
Yeah.
You know what? Make it Jake Browning.
Jake the Snake, the new
That's our
Snake.
boy. Yeah, that's our boy.
He's been looking good.
He is
shocked.
So Tuna gets away with skipping over Dak, in my opinion. I mean, obviously Burrow's hurt, but I'm taking Burrow.
He could have gone Jay Novacek though.
It would be interesting to have gone Dak and then Jamar Chase on this pick, and then have running back tight end still open. That still might have been the strategy. And I'd have my old timer still left.
Valid. So what's the more potent duo? Dak and Chase or Burrow and Metcalf?
Dak and Chase.
I think Burrow and Metcalf. I love Metcalf.
Chase is way better than Metcalf.
I don't know. Dude, if you get DK Metcalf with Joe Burrow throwing the ball to him, DK Metcalf is a friggin' machine, man.
Chase is elite. Different level.
He is.
Yeah, I'd take Chase too.
And he's a great teammate. DK Metcalf is a little bit
psycho.
Yeah. All right.
Tuna, another pick.
2 picks left. It's our last 2 rounds here. This went kind of fast, guys. Spinning the wheel here for you, Dan.
Let's go to a team with some skill positions. Hopefully a tight end.
Oh,
here you go.
Oh, it's
another Cowboy.
Not eligible though, right? Not eligible though, right? Since I already had one, or can I go?
No, we said you can go again. You said
we can go again.
Al voided that rule.
So do you go Jake Ferguson here is the question. Or are you going to fill out your receivers and just take CD?
I'm going to take Lamb and risk it. I got to take some.
Yeah, that's such a big. That's the right move, but that's such a big risk.
All right. But you got your quarterback.
I do. Yeah, I need to hope you tank on quarterback to make our teams at all even.
I'm very worried about quarterback right now.
Yeah, me too. My team is terrible.
Dude, Javonte Williams screwed you from the jump. But if I end up rolling Arizona and Carolina, I'm going to be screwed.
I should have gone in retrospect. Again, it's all hard to play out because you don't know what teams are coming. I should have taken Lamar and saved my legend and just locked him in at quarterback.
Yeah, if I could redo it, I'd save defense and I'd save my legend longer.
Yeah, defense is easy to fill out.
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys, laughed at that Josh Allen pick. It's gonna end up. I'm gonna get both Josh Allens. You watch. All right, here we go.
All right, let's go. Give me some hope.
We got the Cincinnati Bengals.
Joe Burrow.
You can't do it. I don't think you can do it. Now that we should have
We didn't say anything.
We should have talked about this.
No, literally. So what happens next round if I get the Bengals again?
Here's what I think has to happen. You know what I'm going to say. We got to respin.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Right? We got to respin because we didn't say anything. I think potentially you should be able to take Burrow, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, but we don't want that for. So you know what? Let's make it entertaining. I'll take Jamar Chase. Let's make it entertaining. I'll leave my quarterback up for the final spin.
But we'll give you another legacy pick. We'll give you Ocho Cinco.
Team's a shit show anyway.
All right. Here we go. How pissed are you guys going to be when I who am I going to get here? The Chiefs?
Yeah.
All right.
This is the big spin here.
This is a big spin.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Come on.
Unbelievable.
E-A-G-L-E-S Eagles. Let's go. Give me Mr. I didn't have to use. I could have used that legacy pick earlier.
You're going to take Jalen? The loser?
Give me
That
Jalen
loser?
Hurts.
Take
Yeah, absolutely.
You're going
Take
to
Goddard.
have on the sideline.
This offense? Yeah, dude.
Take
You guys-
Goddard.
you
Live a
guys-
little. Come on.
You guys just wait. Tight end. I got my legacy pick. I'm getting the Patriots. I'm getting Gronk, and I'm shoring this thing off, dude.
For somebody who has lost a shit ton of drafts, I'm happy for you that the wheel turned out the way it did. Real happy for you.
All right. 6th round, last round. Here we go, gentlemen. I have, so just as a quick flashback here, I have to take a tight end. Adam has to take a quarterback, and Tuna has to take a tight end as well.
For the record, if you post this on Instagram, I'll delete the account.
Here's the problem with posting this. The explanation is going to have to be like a paragraph long.
Yeah.
No one's going to understand what the hell we did here. All right. Here's the last spin for Team L. And it's going to be Chris Cooley. I told you about this.
Wow.
The Washington Commanders,
this is-
formerly known as the Redskins.
I don't
Who
even
am
want to make my
forgetting?
last pick.
Was it who was the other tight end they had?
Logan Thomas.
No, who is I can't think of it.
They had Vernon Davis for a while, but you can't count him. He's
No,
he's
no,
a minor.
I'm thinking Cooley.
I know another one that they had is better than Cooley. I'm not saying him though.
Well, I'm taking Cooley.
That's fine.
All right.
Is it locked in?
Yeah, it's locked in.
Could have gone Jordan Reed. He was good for a while.
No, he was a bust though, dude.
He just kept getting hurt. He had concussion issues.
Yeah, he never fulfilled his potential. Cooley was a gamer. Give me Cooley with this
Cooley-
offense.
Cooley was a big fantasy football guy.
You know what I actually should have done with this pick? I should have taken a blocking tight end. Who was one of their smash mouth tight ends back in like the 90s? I should have looked one of those guys up.
I don't even know who was tight ends for those teams.
Yeah, I can't
You know,
think of any historical.
Christian Fourier. I think he was a Seahawk though.
He was a Seahawk.
I think he dabbled with the Redskins though. Let me Google Christian Fourier.
Google Redskins tight ends. Redskins Fred
Fourier. Christian
Davis.
Who?
Fred Davis.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Nine games for Fourier in Washington. I don't know how the hell I remember.
Hold up.
Ken Barefoot.
Terry Orr. I should have taken this guy. Look at this psychopath. He definitely would have been blocking.
Do you want to say rest in peace to Frank Wycheck while we're naming?
Yeah,
famous
how
tight
about
ends?
that?
Yeah.
All right. Going back to the wheel, Adam, you have to take a quarterback.
Let's go. Can't be a. Yeah, you should have saved the legend. Should have been saved for a quarterback position.
I would have taken my man Patrick Ramsey.
Woo! I survived. That's the roulette in me there. That's the gunslinger. Dak Prescott for kid at quarterback,
Oh, he gets Trey Lance with his last pick.
and we all end up with good quarterbacks.
Yeah, how about that?
Well, at least me and Tuna do.
All right, so Tuna's last. He has to draft a tight end. He does not have his legacy pick, so this can get really dicey here.
Oh, I
Yeah,
hope
this
it
could be a
does.
rough one.
Give me like the.
Let me ask you this, Tuna. Are you still a fantasy player?
Yes.
Okay, so you'll have an idea. I was going to say what was going to be the percent chance that you just would not even be able to name a tight end on the team.
Even with fantasy, man, I still feel like it's like probably for like 8 of the 32 teams. I don't know if I'll come up with a starting
So
tight
what
end. that
happens?
quickly.
What happens if you can't think of the tight end? I'm not telling him. He's in the blank.
He automatically gets Frank Wycheck.
Yeah, he gets the Minnesota Vikings. Frank Wycheck. Yeah,
I get
come
Terry
on, man.
Orr if I can't come up with a name.
Barry Orr, that's it. All right. Here we go. Dude, there's like 8. Yeah, there's about 8 to 10 teams I don't know tight end on.
I agree.
There's a chance
What
I'll
do we
know
got?
like the 3rd string rookie.
Oh, it worked out for everyone.
on. Nobody got screwed.
It worked out for everyone in the end. Tuna gets Baltimore.
Mark Andrews.
Isaiah Likely.
All right. So that does it.
All right. So I will safely say for the first time in a draft that I have the worst team. But listen, the wheel screwed me is the way it was.
So let's go ahead. Tuna, you had do you want to go ahead and read your team?
Yeah, quarterback took Joe Burrow for the Bengals. Running back, I took my all-timer Emmitt Smith for the Cowboys. Wide receiver, I'm a little weak here. I got DK Metcalf from the Seahawks and CeeDee Lamb from Cowboys. I mean, relative to the receiving cores you guys got, that's where I have a weakness. Tight end, I've got Mark Andrews, and defense, I've got Aaron Donald.
Yeah, as I look at it, it might not be as bad as I thought. I got Dak Prescott at quarterback. 3 Cowboys got drafted. Cowboys came up 3 times here. Javonte Williams at running back. Devontae Adams and Jamar Chase at wide receiver. Sam Laporta at tight end. And Ray Lewis anchoring the defense.
And I have at quarterback Jalen Hurts, Christian McCaffrey at running back, Tyreek Hill and Justin Jefferson at wide receiver, Chris Cooley at tight end as predicted, and Josh Allen of the Jaguars as my defensive player.
So wait, I have a proposal for you guys.
What's
You
that?
want to go one more round, coach, and you can take any coach in the history of the franchise.
All right. This is another one where I might not be able to name someone, so we'll see what happens here.
You got to get a coach. You got to get a leader.
Sounds good. I just want to ask real quick, if I had not taken Jalen Hurts and then I had my legacy pick for my quarterback on the Commanders, who's that pick? Is that Joe Theismann? Or is that RG3?
Was Doug?
Well,
I know Doug Williams took him to the Super Bowl and won, but I don't know if he was better than Theismann.
Yeah, I think it's Theismann. If you're being
right,
Rickett also won the Super Bowl.
I only thought of him and RG3. Those
what
only
about your boy Sugar Shane Matthews?
Sugar Shane, dude, I'll take him all day. And
Danny
Danny
Warfel.
Wonderful.
Yep.
All right, Tuna spin first.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Right.
You got first pick.
All right, spin the wheel.
Get the Jets.
And we're going all time, right?
Yeah, all time.
Oh, this one.
Oh,
his new hometown, Chicago, the Chicago Bears.
Dick, Juice Box Boy. You know that reference?
Juice Box Boy?
Yeah.
I don't know that one.
Never seen the movie Kicking and Screaming, Will Ferrell?
Oh,
I saw
yeah,
it.
it's been a while though. Yeah, I mean it's Ditka, and there's no one even close, right?
Yeah, it's Dick.
Yeah, it's absolutely Ditka.
Like who would even be their second choice?
That's a big boost for your team, Tuna.
Jim
That's
Schwartz?
nice. I really. What's that?
Would Jim Schwartz be the second choice?
Was he a coach of the Bears?
Wasn't he?
I don't think
No,
so.
he was Detroit.
Yeah, Lions.
Yeah.
Wait, who am I thinking of?
Lovie Smith was there. John Fox was there.
Matt Nagy.
Matt Nagy. Everflus.
Dick Duran.
Dave Wannstedt?
Who was there? His Duran was the 2000s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Lovie Smith was most of the 2000s.
Lovie Smith. That's when they were good.
Oh yeah, Lovie Smith would probably have been the number 2 choice. Mike Tressman, you remember him?
Yeah, Tressman. It's a good one.
What about George Hallis?
Oh yeah, Papa Bear Hallis. Got his name
on the helmet or the jersey, right?
Yeah.
All right, there were some other options there. I'm hoping one of you guys gets the Cardinals.
Yeah. Now this really might be what screws everything up. Is the coach.
Yeah, you got to have the motivator.
All right, Seltzer, here's your team for the coach.
Here we go. Oh, the Giants. Come on.
You
I
can
don't mean any disrespect.
I'll let you take BG here if you want.
I don't mean any disrespect, but I got to take the real tuna, the big tuna, Bill Parcells.
Yeah. Bill Parcells.
Oh, thought about Coughlin.
That's the pick.
Yeah.
Bill Parcells won 2?
Yeah, definitely won 1. I think he won 2.
All right. Here's where I lose credibility. I'm definitely going to get a team where I probably don't know a coach, or I don't know the best.
Here it comes, Patriots.
Oh no!
Whoa.
Oh,
The Bengals.
Yeah.
Sam Weish.
Who's I'm not taking. Who was the dude that was there forever with Chad and with TJ?
Marv Lewis.
Marv Lewis. I'm not taking him.
He was
who is the dude there now? Evan something?
I can't give you his name if you're going to pick him. You said you weren't taking Marv, so I can give you that name.
Evan. Dude, there's only 2 coaches in the history of the Bengals franchise. It's Marv Lewis and this dude.
I don't think that's accurate.
I can't name any others. What's this dude's name? Evan what? Something Evan?
What?
Evan wait, is that the kicker? Am I thinking of the kicker? McPherson? Is that the kicker?
Yeah, that's a kicker.
Ah, damn it. Is both of their first names Evan though?
Your team's going to get all delayed games because they got nobody to call plays.
I don't know the dude's name. What do you
can't call any plays. You got no coach.
I can't. Then I have to take Marv Lewis.
No, you say you're not. You're already disqualified.
Yeah, you already committed to it.
You didn't know his name.
I cannot name a coach for the Cincinnati Bengals. I can't do it.
You're coachless.
I can't do it.
Oh, what a turn. He blew it on the last pick.
That's it.
Evan from the Bengals.
What the hell is that dude's name?
Evan.
Wait, just tell me this. Is his first name also Evan? Is the kicker and the coach both named Evan?
You gotta guess. You gotta put his name down.
Evan. Oh man. Dude.
Evan Royster.
He's like a young stud coach, right? This is bullshit, dude.
You blew it. It's worse than Tupac changes.
I don't know his name. That's it. Coach Evan. Coach Evan. That's my guy.
Coach
That's
Evan.
my guy, dude.
There you go. All right, let's reread our rosters. Al, you go first.
I got Coach Evan. Jalen Hurts, Christian McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, Chris Cooley, and Josh Allen.
There you have it, fans. Coach Evan leading the way.
What the hell's the dude's name?
Zach Taylor.
Why do I think the kicker was the coach?
I don't know, but I'm pissing my pants.
Damn it.
Shit.
Oh,
that was funny.
So close. I was this close.
That
You weren't that close. You weren't close at all.
Come on, man.
Oh, man.
Even better, other than Marvin Lewis, you couldn't name a third Bengals coach in history.
I don't
No,
know.
I
I
can't.
could have. Who was there before?
I can't.
Lewis is there forever.
Well, Lewis has been there a while. The only one I remember is mid-90s was Bruce Coslet, but I think he lasted
that's
a
good.
season.
Yeah, but that's also because you're an AFC North guy.
True. Sam White, I think, was there.
I'm pulling it up now. I said Sam Weish.
Marvin Lewis
did
was
you?
there
Okay.
Marvin Lewis was there for 16 years.
How about your boy Tuna Dick LeBeau?
Yeah, Dick
Dick LeBeau.
LeBeau.
I forgot about him.
Wait a minute. There's only 10 coaches in the history of Cincinnati Bengals football. You would think
Really?
there's some weird franchise.
Well, Lewis was there for 16.
It just seemed like they fire coaches so often that there would be more than that.
Dude, that's still crazy. If I asked Joe Schmo in the streets, Cincinnati's only been around since 1968. If I said how many head coaches do you think they've had in their lifetime? 10?
No, I would say in the 20s.
Their owner's cheap.
One every what, like 10 years? 8 years?
Yeah, well, again, Lewis was there for 2 decades.
You
And
know
some
who
of
you
these
missed
guys
out
were
on.
there for 1 year. Homer Rice was there for 1 year.
You missed out on Paul Brown.
Yeah. Coach Evan waiting in the wings, though.
I would have never. Dude, I can't believe I named the freaking kid. We got to delete this. We got to get rid of this part of the pod.
Yeah, you can post this on Instagram now.
We just got the blue check on Twitter. They're gonna take it right back. It's like these guys don't deserve this.
Oh, that was so funny. All right, well, there you have it, guys. Tuna, thank you for joining this interesting draft and having some fun with us tonight. We will be back at it next Tuesday. Hopefully, we have an Eagles victory to talk about, and we can be a little bit more positive.
And a Steelers loss.
Until then, let's drop that beat.